Miss Lizzie. I don't ever smoke the dizzy, but we can always share some ditzies. It's just a cup in time. This song doesn't have to rhyme. Life's all of us, not every moment we can be feeling fine. I wanna share a moment, just a second if you will, maybe even a cup of thrill. We could share this performance. It's tea time, come sit with me.
Well, welcome guys, Miss Liz in the house, and that's right, Miss Liz has a returning guest. That's right, we have Diann Floyd Boehm in the house, and she is a returning guest. I believe she's been on Tea Time 3 times, maybe 4. So we're going to talk about her book called Ruby Takes Chicago, and it's about her grandma's story. That's right, we're going to talk some strong stories about women today. Later on tonight, we have Lisa Kolova coming on, and she's going to be also speaking. So today we have 2 strong, empowering women joining us for Tea Time. So before we get started, we're going to get everybody over to Miss Liz's YouTube channel, Spotify, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, all of those platforms. Give it a quick like, subscribe, follow, and get these tea times out, because each of these tea times do make a difference, not only for my guests, but for myself as well, and for the listeners out there that are looking for hope, encouragement, and inspiration. These tea times, that's what they're for. So let's get started with the disclaimer and get a little intro, and we're going to get Diann here, and we're going to spill some tea together. And today's tea, I'm going to try and say these words: triumph, espose, my French is kicking in, and envision. We're going to get Diann to say them, because my French for some reason just kicked in, and I want to say all those words in French for some reason. I don't know why, but that's the tea we're serving today. So let's get started with disclaimer. Miss Liz's Tea Time is a global platform dedicated to sharing real life stories, diverse perspectives, and meaningful conversations that inspire awareness, healing, and connection. I'm Miss Liz is going live using StreamYard. Before leaving a comment during the live broadcast, please grant StreamYard permission to display your name at StreamYard.com. Please be advised that all the content brought forward during any Tea Time show is presented in good faith. However, discussions may include opinions, beliefs, and perspectives that do not necessarily represent the views of Miss Liz or the Tea Time platform. Information shared by guests is based on their own experiences and is perceived to be accurate at the given time of airing. All guests, viewers, and participants are responsible for using their own judgment when considering any action or decision that may relate to these discussions. Some episodes may cover sensitive topics, including but not limited to trauma, abuse, grief, mental health, and other emotionally triggering subjects. Listeners' and viewers' discretion is strongly advised. Tea Time with Miss Liz is an open discussion forum designed to offer insight, inspire awareness, and create connection. It is not a substitute for professional, medical, legal, or therapeutical advice. If you require professional support, please seek assistance from qualified professionals or trusted resources in your area. If you have questions regarding this disclaimer or content of this discussion, you are welcome to contact me, aka Miss Liz, directly at my email at bookingmissliz@gmail.com or my link tree at Miss Liz's Tea Time. By choosing to participate in, comment on, or view these live shows, you acknowledge and accept this disclaimer. Your participation is entirely volunteer. I, Miss Liz, welcome you to join the conversation with an open heart, and if at any time you feel platform is not right for you, I respect your wishes and decision and welcome you back whenever you are ready. Tea Time with Miss Liz is serving truth and awareness one cup at a time. Now let me give you a little bit on Diann. Well, today I pour a cup of imagination, courage, and creativity as we welcome Diann Floyd Boehm, award-winning international author, speaker, and live stream host who believes that stories can change hearts and history. From Dubai to Austin, Diann has carried a lifetime of experiences into her writing, inspiring children and adults alike to dream bigger, love deeper, and embrace imagination. Her latest adventure, Ruby Takes Chicago, shines a light on women's triumph, equality, and vision during the early days of the suffrage movement. Through Ruby's eyes, we see a world where determination meets destination and imagination becomes the key to empowerment. Let's welcome back a returning guest, Diann, to the tea time table again and spill a strong tea together. Let me get Diann in here. Welcome, Diann.
Hi, it's great to see you. Thank you for the lovely intro.
It is nice to see you. We got to catch up really briefly before we came live, and we'll catch up later after the tea time. But Diann, for the listeners who are tuning in for the first time and want to know a little bit about who you are, who were you as a little girl and who are you now as a grown woman?
A little girl, I like to think I carry a little bit of that still in me because imagination has always played a major role in my life. I was always dreaming. If you can imagine where my little bed, twin size bed was located in the bedroom. The full moon sometimes would come in, and that's when I'd make sure I'd push my bed over by that window. And then I had shears, curtains, and I'd drape them over my bed, and I'd pretend I was a princess and flying on a magic carpet all the way to the moon. So, imagination is definitely who I am. And even as a little kid, when I was about, I think in fifth grade, I got my best friend, Connie Ann, and we went. And back then they didn't have brown Santa and all those type of things to help the poor. And so I got my mama's permission, and we took my little brother's red wagon, and we went to all our neighbors and got toys that people weren't using anymore, cleaned them up, wrapped them up, and gave them to people. Mother and the church would help us find a place for a new home for basically new toys that weren't being used. And I kind of do that today.
I always learn something new about you. Like every time I ask that question, I always get something new. So if everybody wants to check out all of Diann's tea times, you'll see that each time she shares a little bit of her childhood in a different way. That's the first time I heard about the Christmas story. Diann, I want to talk to you about this book that you wrote, Ruby Takes Chicago. I know that it's based on your grandma's story.
That's true.
So I want to know what inspired you and what gave you the spark to start that story and to write that story.
Sure, I'll be happy to share. First of all, it is based on my grandma. And of course, I have several grandmas, but this is on my mama's side. And this is the second book. The first book was Rise, a Girl's Struggle for More. So this is a continuation because, yay, people told OC Publishing, what happened to Ruby next? So Ann O'Connell said, you got to get the other half of the story out. So I said, okay. Anyway, but what inspired me was, so I traveled to a lot of different schools, especially when I was overseas. And whether it was an American school, British school, etc. The one thing when I would be asked to stay longer and help teach creative writing and so forth, I might have been in the school for 2 or 3 days. And even when especially when I was asking the 8th or 9th graders, to tell me your dreams, so we could really build on this creative writing. And the one thing they had in common, no matter what country I was in or city, was I don't need to dream about what I want to be. The government's going to tell me. And I was so shocked by that. Even American kids who are taught, to dream big, go after your dreams. And these kids are saying, the government will tell me what to do. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. And so in my little mind anyway. And so I thought, I'm going to write a book about my grandma because she was so inspirational, along with my mom. But my grandma was amazing in the sense, here's a woman born in 1905, and she had 9 brothers and sisters, and the boys all got to go to school. And to just kind of, you probably know, but in case your listeners don't, people, as soon as you went through the change of life, and generally that was at 14, girls and boys got married. There was no such thing as a childhood. You were either a teenager. You were either a child or you were an adult. And so luckily for my grandma, her parents believed in education. But that only meant that, okay, you finished high school. Well, back then, high school, you graduated at 16, not at 18, at least in my country. And so then grandma's like, well, I'm going to go to college. And they're like, no, you're not. You're already past your prime and getting married. You're already being called, an old maid. She's like 16, but she knew what was coming. And so she was in high school. She was already, I guess, tutoring kids, figuring out ways to save money in case her parents didn't let her go to college because they had the money to send her. And so I figure, and there's a fun story of how she ended up going that's hysterical, that's in Rise. You would just be like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? I mean, how many women today, or men or kids, run away to go to college? Hello.
Now you got to kind of encourage them to even go to college.
Or you get to go to college, but please don't party. Would you please study? I'm paying a lot of money for that, right? So I wanted kiddos and even people our age who are still dreaming and want to go after their dream, because your dreams can change, with age. I know mine certainly have, with maturity. And so I want them to know that, wow, if a person in the 1900s can make their dreams come true, then, and they have so much less going for them compared to this age, that that you can go after it if you really, as my grandmother and mother would say, quote, fire in the gut, and make it happen.
And that's where we connected, was our grandmas, right? We share stories of our grandmas on how our grandmas impacted our lives.
Yes.
So how did your grandmas impact your life and your journey?
Oh, excellent question. Well, I'm a storyteller, so I'm gonna have stories, right? So I would be like sad about something, and grandma goes, well, do you really want to do it? So for instance, in 5th grade, I had to transfer to public school, and because the school was bringing in uniforms, and my mother's like, I only have one daughter. There's no way she's going to wear a uniform. She's going to go to public school, right? And so it was the first time that I was told that I couldn't sing, and I couldn't be in the choir. And I was just devastated. Though the teacher was very kind and told me what I needed to do. And grandma, she said, well, Diann, do you really want to sing? And I was like, yes, I just have to be in the choir, grandma. And she goes, then you need to practice and do everything your teachers said to do in order to achieve that goal. So I did. And I went back, and she goes, no, you're not there yet. And I did that 3 more times. So finally, she let me be in the choir. And that's when I really learned that, okay, it takes practice to make dreams come true. So I learned that at 11.
And you went to Broadway, correct? Or you did some Broadway?
Yes. So in Dubai, Popular Productions, which is part of the West End in England, so that's equal to Broadway in America, they started putting on musicals, and I made it into the production company. So I was with them for 14 years. Can you believe it?
Wow.
Yeah, it was very exciting. And again, that's like a dream come true. And obviously I learned how to sing. And so, I don't speak British. I don't have the British accent. And sometimes I let that Texas accent come out. So, they're not going to give me very many speaking parts unless it's an American show like The Wizard of Oz. Okay, we'll let you speak.
Have you ever done The Wizard of Oz, Diann?
Yes, I did it a couple of times with Popular Productions, actually, in Dubai.
Well, Diann, I'm going to pull up your book. So if you want to talk about the cover and that, I believe the cover you said was your grandma?
Yes.
So I'm going to pull that up for all the audio listeners, if you could just describe the color of the cover and the image and all of that, and then we'll get into the book a little bit more.
Sure, I'll be happy to. So I love this cover. I don't take credit for it. OC Publishing, Ann O'Connell and her team did it. And I think they did a fabulous job, especially if you compare the first one, which was excellent too, to show the contrast of grandma growing up. And if you notice, for the listeners, it's yellow, and it's just a very soft, and the background is Chicago in the 1920s. And basically that's when the book takes place, is in the 1920s, which is a great time to study history, especially because we all think the Roaring 20s, but not everybody lived the Roaring 20s life. They had to actually live a real life and work and so forth. And people forget that there was a time that women weren't supposed to work. And so even as progressive as Chicago was in those days, because women's suffrage and so forth, they were very strong about that. The women, if you were a working woman, you were considered a slut. Can you believe that?
Whoa. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Women,
and back then they didn't want the women to have a voice, right? And if you had a
ex-
voice, well, then you were like a rebel, right? You were
yeah.
the outsider.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people were shunned and blacklisted in their own families for that. But my grandma, she grew up with some wonderful parents, great grandma and great grandpa. He died before I was born, but great grandma, I knew her till I was about 10 years old, and she played a major role in my life too. And they grew up in Oklahoma, and back then you had the Wild West, the outlaws, and all that. So women had to be super strong, and so my grandma Ruby, having such strong parents in her life. And to go, and they would tell her, you have to go after your dreams, especially once they started supporting her in her dreams, that she did it. She made it happen.
I see the resemblance too as I'm looking at your grandma's picture now. The
You're so
smile,
sweet.
the nose, like I see the resemblance, even the hairline, like your hair is divided right in the same area as Grandma Ruby. Like, oh my goodness.
I never noticed
I'm like
that.
looking at the picture. I'm amazed about the picture because and the pearls, it's just that connection of that old soul, right? Connecting with grandma. But I can see the smile, Diann. Like you guys have the same smile. Like it's amazing. I'm gonna pull the book down and we're gonna talk about a little bit about your words and your T. So I'm gonna pull up your T words since I'm having trouble pronouncing them. I don't know why my French decides that it wants to kick in right now, but we're going to pull it up and we're going to put it up on the screen so everybody can see your T. But we're going to talk a little bit because some of the questions came in about these words. I have some listeners that do some homework for Miss Liz and then they send in some stuff. So we're going to put that up. So Diann, your T is triumph, espouse.
Well, you see the word spouse, so it's espouse in the English version. And the word envision. So this word came from envision, but it's envisage.
See that I even got you speaking a little bit of Francais.
Just to give your listeners a background. I thought, okay, now I know what I want to get across for grandma. So I think of, independent, strong, and so forth. So I'd look for a synonym. So these words don't actually roll off my mouth all the time, just so you know. Of course, triumph does, but anyway, they're fun words, and I wanted to make sure I had my T correct.
Right? So some of the comments and questions that came in starts off with triumph. And triumph is Ruby steps into a job that matches her degree, a huge victory for women of her time. What message does her triumph hold for your young readers today chasing their big first big dreams?
I think to realize that just because you graduated from college and you have a degree doesn't mean that dream job is going to be there. She had to do a lot of other jobs while she was looking for the job of her dreams, which in that day was accounting. And also, just on a side note, what was accounting back then and the type of tools they used, like an adding machine and so forth, that was considered high technology. Can you believe it? So she was like way up there with high tech, just so you know. That was really kind of cool since I was in high tech. But Triumph was like, she did it. She kept going for her dream. She knew she had to pay for her apartment and so forth. And on a side note, women couldn't just have an apartment by themselves. Most of them had to live in a home for women and have a mother who answered the door and make sure that the men didn't go upstairs or anything. So it was really a different world back then for women.
So Diann, what message would you have for the young readers and their first big dream? Like, what could you encourage them to do?
Never stop dreaming. Keep going after it. And especially because you have so much available to you on the internet. Just job hunt, job hunt, job hunt. And unfortunately today you have all these computers looking at your um, bios and so forth. So find out what words trigger the computer to let you in the door. I'm so glad I didn't have to go through that. I'm watching my daughter do that.
Right? And it's scary out there,
That's
looking
scary.
at what's coming and what determines what makes us, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Back in the day, we didn't have to worry about the words and the grammar and all of that stuff.
Right,
We showed up ladylike and we did the job and got it done.
right,
Now they're looking at us as words and what society wants us to be, right?
exactly. And, you know, a person can look good on paper, but when you have a one-on-one with them in person, you can tell if they're going to work with your team, and not necessarily the person that is like the perfect fit on paper. Once you meet them, you're like, actually, I want that person. They're going to work better for the team. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does.
Yeah,
We got to start hiring people for skills, not just for paper, right?
absolutely.
So next word is espouse.
Yes.
I don't know why my French is kicking in today. I think it's these words. I think you just want me to speak a little bit of French here.
Oh, yes. So, espouse. This is a great word. I'm so glad to learn about it. It's a really fun way to um, really fun word, I think, because it's a word to believe. And for Ruby, I picked this word because Chicago was perfect for her, because women's suffrage movement was going on. There was a lot of strong women. They were some of the first women to march in the streets for voters' rights and women's rights to work and so forth. And my grandmother totally believed that women should be able to work. And she also believed, as many of the leaders of the women's movement, the suffrage movement, that a woman can work and can be a mom, that you can do both. So that's why I picked that word. And I talk about it in the book too.
Well, we have a question here. It says, how important is it to weave social movements in, like the women's suffrage era, into stories for today's generation?
Oh, I think it's important because if you go and you read about these women, they did a lot of sacrifices. There's one movie, I can't think of the exact name, but it's Angel something. And some of these women actually spent days in jail for their beliefs in women's rights. And men were just, they were horrified about the thought of a woman not doing exactly what they say. In some countries, when a woman marries, they're considered a ward to their husband, and I believe that was really big in England. But in America, we never said that a wife was the ward to their husband, but we did believe that they had to do everything that they said, or bam, bam, bam.
Right? The times have really changed, but do you feel, Diann, that we're falling backwards again
No,
in
no,
women's rights?
I think we're going for a balance in the world, but no, I don't. I think that we've made a lot of progress. I was reading not too long ago that yes, we have women who are CEOs of very, very large companies, but there's only 11% of the women that are doing that. So we still need to improve in that area. But no, I don't think we're going backwards. If anything, I think we're moving forwards. And I think what we see today, and this is my humble belief, is that people are yearning for a balance in their life. They want a family, but it's hard to do on a single income. But I think these young kids, what I find inspiring about young parents today is that whether you're a man or a woman, one of you can, possibly do your work from home, put the kid to take a nap and do some more work. And so you have this area where you can really try to find balance and have a home life and a family.
I think I asked you this the last time you were on Tea Time, Diann, about Ruby, your grandma Ruby. If you could turn it into a Broadway show, would you like to? Would you like to star in it?
No, I wouldn't like to star in it, but I would love to see the director just have so much fun with it because, you know, you have the Charleston dancing going on, you have the women's marches, you have men coming around to say, okay, yeah, you're right. And so you feel the struggle that's going on that you know happens in Broadway shows, and so it makes for writing some good music. So that's for sure.
I think it would be an awesome Broadway show.
I do too.
I remember having this conversation with you about it, either during a tea time or after a tea time. We talked about this coming to the Broadway stage, right?
That yeah, I mean, that was fun. But also remember in this time, for the listeners, prohibition was going on, and so that adds a whole nother dimension, which is in the book, where you know you wanted to go clubbing. Well, a woman had to dress very properly, and then you know you went to the laundromat, you said the password, they let you in, and of course the speakeasy was down below, and then you went in the restroom and you changed your clothes for having a great time because you know you were showing more than your ankles when you were at a speakeasy.
I like how you just took us on a journey there, Diann. You know, password at the laundromat, and then you're going down to the secret club, right? There was
Yeah.
a lot of secret clubs back in the day because
Yes, there was.
they
And
hid, right?
if you ever go and visit Chicago, the Green Mile is still open. And a lot of gangsters went there. So my grandma had good stories to tell me.
She had a lot of adventures.
Yes.
So, what part of the book was the most fun for you to write?
Gee whiz. And both of them. But I think for me, seeing grandma's dream come true, because she had to go through a lot of heartache and a lot of jobs. And then when she finally ended up getting that accounting job, you know, she had to answer to men because she was the only woman. And I loved how grandma put up with what she had to put up with until she got a raise and ended up being the head person. And I was like, wow, that's amazing, grandma.
Well, Diann, let's get into the last word. I'm going to get you to say because I don't want to mess it up.
So think of envision.
Envision.
And so then you'll say envisage.
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 I think it's a sage.
Envisage.
The sage, right?
I know it sounds very sexy, doesn't it? Am I allowed to say that word? I don't know.
I think we're good. We bring the little passage to the
Let's do
table.
it, right? So I think, I'm sure if we read about it, it came from the word envision, because that word emphasize is all about a mental picture. And we tell people today, you know, get a magazine out, cut out pictures of things, you know, make a storyboard of where you want to go, what you want to be. And that's kind of what the women did in those days that wanted to be more besides just being at home. And so grandma had a vision. She knew what she wanted. She knew what she wanted to achieve. And her vision was to work, to be a wife, but also to be part of the working world and be part of this new world that was happening and opening up for women. And so that's what I think is we can do today. We can mentally see what it is we want to do and go for it. And sometimes it's easier said than done. But I believe that if it's something that you can, whether you have to study or work hard or whatever, but you can envision and again, get that mental picture. And it may not happen overnight, but it'll happen. And I like to say, again, if it's okay to say on your show, you can wipe it out if you want, but everything happens in God's time.
Right? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a strong believer, right? God puts us on a path, and sometimes He has me shaking my head and scratching my head and saying, "What are we doing? Where are we going?" But He knows, right?
Yeah, He knows. Absolutely.
So do you think that's where you get it from? Is your grandma Ruby, the humanitarian and the vision, the big dreamer, the big creation?
I think my grandma, as well as my great grandma's mom, but my parents, I have to give a lot of credit to my parents. They always believed that you have to turn around and help someone. So, for an example, at my church, we always had a little miter box, and Daddy, we had to do things to get our allowance. If we didn't do our allowance, you didn't, get anything. But Daddy always said, so, here's your money, but you have to put 10 cents was a lot of money back then, by the way. So you need to think about what you want to do, but 5 or 10 cents has to go into the miter box because that's going to be to help the poor. And then after a year, we'd go and we would give it to the church and knew where. Well, I'll back that up. One time, do you know what I did? There was this little magazine at the Maryknoll and there was a story about this Maryknoll priest in Africa and all the things he was doing to help the poor. And I was so amazed by what he was doing, and had a little thing about, if you want to help, you could send money here. So I wrote him a letter, and I'm like in 4th grade, like 10 years old, and I put all my change into this envelope, and I mailed it. And believe it or not, it actually made it all the way to Africa. And the reason I know it is I received a letter back from that priest, and we still have it in the letter in the Bible today. And the priest thanking me because he knew that was all the money I had, and I was giving it to the poor.
Diann, that tells you right at a young age that you were a humanitarian. Like you were looking to make a difference. You do a lot of humanitarian work. What has really touched your heart the most?
Goodness, there's so many stories, but and creating new ones here. But I really believe a group of us, so it wasn't just me, we were in Kenya, and we did several things. One of them was all underneath keeping girls in school. And in this one school, we provided, with the help of Kathy especially, who's the leader, who helped build a medical facility to have a nurse. And these girls, the nurse went and measured them and so forth. And it was for the first time ever that these girls received underwear, Kotex, and a bra, and they got to stay in school during their period. Because before that, the girls would have to use banana leaves or something and be out of school. And usually when they were out of school, a majority of them were raped by people in their own family. And so knowing that we started keeping girls in school, I think that means a lot to me.
I think it's amazing what you did, and there's a lot of awareness in that story in itself, Diann, because a lot of people do not know about the women in Kenya, in Africa, what they go through during their period time, right? It is a real nightmare. Some kids avoid the whole community, like they run away from home when they get their period. Like there's horror stories. So thanks for sharing that story, because for my listeners out there, we really need to start getting educated on these stories and how much just a period makes a difference in a girl's life in another country, and impacts them.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm pretty sure I know which country, but I won't say the name in case I mess up and then they'll be mad at me. But there is a country in Africa where when a girl starts her period, the parents, they dig a giant hole, and then the girl's stuck in the hole up to her neck. And then everybody comes and they force feed her, and then they make the hole bigger and bigger until she's the weight that they need her to be, because the fatter you are, the more someone will marry you. So the men stay very slender and the girls become huge. And then that brings more money to the family.
Wow.
There's so many stories. It's, yeah.
And that's why I enjoy having you on Teatime, because we You know, you have the stories, and you know, you've lived it and you've read it and you've been on the ground, like you've been to those countries and you've seen stuff too. um, we have some questions that came in about, yeah, about you, Diann, that I'd like to get out to you. uh, the first one is music theater education. Your background is a creative mosaic. how do you how do those disciplines feed your storytelling voice?
Great question. I live for music. I love to sing. I don't have the greatest voice on earth, but I do want to bring the magic into my books. So maybe you're not going to see a song, but there will be me singing possibly while I'm writing the story. So I bring it in that way. And then when I go and read to the children at school, I generally teach them a song about happiness. Do you know the song Happiness Runs in a Circular Motion?
No, I
So
didn't.
I always teach this song no matter what country I'm in, but this isn't perfect. But happiness runs in a circular motion. Love is like a little boat upon the sea. Everybody is a part of everything anyway. You can be a part if you let yourself be. Happiness runs in a circular motion. You go on from there, and then you go, and then you go real, real slow, and the children love it.
Oh, I've never heard that song, and I like that song. I have to teach that to my granddaughter. I have to get you online with my granddaughter and teach her that song. She's in
Okay, we'll do.
kindergarten now. Like, oh, I like that. That's almost like Alice Camel has one hump, and then we go faster and faster, right? And we used to
Yes,
jump on the back
exactly.
of the bus, and when the bus would hit a bump, we'd go.
I need to learn that one.
Bringing back good memories. Uh, Another question that came in for you is: after reading so many books that inspire kindness, peace, and what kindness and peace, what lessons has storytelling given you about humanity?
Hmm. That there's don't always listen to the noise in the world because for some dumb reason, bad news sells and people are like glued to it. But just remember, there is around the world, there are so many beautiful people and so many people filled with love. And even if they're a little bit different, once you get to know them, you come to realize how much we're more alike than different.
I'm really enjoying this tea time. You know that we have some pizzazz, and we have some children's music, and we a journey. We have some education and some awareness as well. This is truly an amazing, strong tea today with you,
Thank
Diann.
you. Thank you.
We have some lightning bolt questions for you now.
Oh no, I always hate this.
One word that describes Ruby.
Describes Riri.
Ruby.
Brilliant.
Oh, why?
Because she had the courage to go forward.
I like that word, courage. Diann, what was the most courageous thing you've done in your life?
Oh my goodness. Courageous thing I ever did in my life was to stand up to my brothers.
See, I love the stories of this.
And for those who don't know, I have 5 of them.
She's the only girl, right? I believe.
That's right. That's right.
That's courage in itself, right there. Is the only sister with 5 brothers.
But it was a blessing.
Favorite line from Ruby Takes Chicago?
Oh my goodness. Favorite line. Oh, I'd have to really think. Don't tell me what to do.
Oh. You know, that kind of reminds me of Diane Keaton in You Don't Own Me.
Yeah.
The white.
You don't own me. I don't think my grandmother would sing that. It'd be more like his eyebrow would go up and say, "Don't you tell me what to do." The Scottish blood would be coming out.
You know, back in the day, we had sass. You know, our grandmas had sass. Like, you know, they were the nice, calm cooking grandma making cookies, but don't get on the bad side.
Oh, never, ever. Yeah.
Favorite recipe from Grandma Ruby?
Oh, favorite recipe. That would have to be rhubarb pie.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that one. Do you have the recipe?
Oh, my mama does. I guess I better dig that up since Mama's in heaven now.
Well, Thanksgiving is coming. You can make some rhubarb pie.
Rhubarb pie, that's right. It's very sweet for those who don't know it.
Color blue means blank to you.
Oh, peace.
Oh, why, Diann?
Because it's very calming, easy on the eyes. It shows hope, I believe.
And 3 words that describe your tea journey.
My tea journey. Do they all have to be TEA?
No, your
Oh.
tea. We're going on a journey with you.
Oh, okay. My tea journey. Oh, I'd have to be like grandma in the sense of triumph, but education and to have faith and love.
Dream place you set your next story.
I'm working on a new story.
Oh,
So I'll probably have to say it's in Israel.
oh. I guess we'll have to have you back on Tea Time to find out about that story.
Definitely, once it's published.
A book every child should read.
Oh, gee whiz. The Little Engine That Could. And adults too, by the way.
Right? Adults first and then the kids.
Yeah.
One act of kindness that changed your day.
That changed my day. The day that my choir teacher told me that I could sing and be in the choir. My whole world changed.
How old were you when you joined the choir?
11.
Are you still singing today?
Yes.
Well, she just sang us a little happiness song, right? The round happiness is round.
Tomorrow, tomorrow, I love you tomorrow. There you go. That's a great song. You know, from Annie.
Absolutely. Have you played Annie?
I haven't been Annie, but I've been in Annie 4 or 5 times.
You have?
In the Philippines, and then Popular Productions. I think we did it like 3 times. So, yeah.
And what fuels your determination when writer's block hits?
Oh my gosh. Chocolate.
Chocolate.
And to go for a walk and be with nature.
In that order?
Probably. And then I might have to go pull some weeds to work off the chocolate that I just ate.
We talked about this before, right? The gardening.
Yeah. It's not just a bite I eat. I mean, I probably eat enough chocolate for 3 people.
And since you've been on Tea Time multiple times, what is your best experience on Tea Time?
I think what I love about Tea Time is you are always teaching us to think deeper about ourselves and to be prepared for the T and TEE. And so actually I'm always learning. I'm always learning from you, and I'm learning about myself. And I find you extremely inspiring. And I think you bring one of the reasons I really love being on your show, and everybody listening, she didn't pay me to say this, is that you are a gift to the world. You inspire people to go after their dreams and know that we've had some really dark times in our life, but there's light at the end of the tunnel, and just believe that faith doesn't happen overnight, but faith carries you through. And I think you have a wonderful way of sharing that with people. And that's one of the things I love about you.
Well, thank you so much. I really enjoyed sitting and talking with you, Diann, because every time we sit and talk with each other, we always learn a little bit about each other more through music, through song, through storytelling, and that's what tea is about. And tea, the tea hasn't really changed. Just one letter has changed, but it's still
Yes.
T, guys. Because
Yeah.
if you do your research, it's T in German. And that's how Oma
Ah.
is. And that's where the new branding and logo and all that stuff comes in, is we're still serving tea. We're just changed up the letters. Just like we change up the stories, we change up the guests, and we change the storylines, you know? I want to talk about some of your other books that you have out there as well, because you have some incredible children's books. One of my favorite is Boomer. So if we could talk a little bit about Boomer, because
Sure.
I know you did you changed Boomer up, or you gave Boomer a new look.
Yes, yes.
You did
So,
something to Boomer. I remember that.
yay, here's Boomer. I didn't know I was going to get lucky enough to show him, but yes. So Boomer has a brand new look, and it's with the new publisher. The other publishing company folded, and I was very lucky that Plum Creek Press liked Boomer and picked it up, and the new artist just ran with it and made, I think, updated Boomer to what children want today. And that's one thing I learned as an author, is that you have to really understand what children today want when they look at a book. That illustrations that you enjoyed that might have been more watercoloring don't do much for children today. They like the bold and the bright and happiness and big eyes. So that's Boomer. And Boomer is all about being curious. And I came about writing Boomer the Curious Bunny because I want people, whether it's the family person reading to the child, or the caretaker, or the child themselves, to know being curious is part of life, and that's how we learn.
I mean, I love Boomer. Like when I seen that Boomer was getting an upgrade and a change, I was just like, "Oh, where's this bunny going?" You know how I like going down the rabbit holes, Diann. So it's just like, way to go, Boomer. Let's go. And I just like the name Boomer. Like it's playful. It's fun. How did you get that name Boomer? Like, is it after a grandchild or a niece, a nephew? Like, how did you get
Well,
Boomer?
I had several different names, and I asked my grandson what he thought would be great. And he was only 2 at the time. What would be a great name for this bunny that likes to hop around? And he goes, Boomer. And I go, why? Because they go, when they hop, they go boom, boom, boom.
Leave it up to the grandchildren, right? They get it.
Yeah, exactly.
See, we're getting 2 books out, but you also have some incredible books. You have A Song for Peace, A Time to Fly, Boomer the Curious Bunny that we're just talked about, Charlie and the Tire Swing, How It Began, Harry the Camel, Rise.
A Girl's Struggle for More.
Yeah. So the Rise, A Girl's Struggle for More, is that the first book of
Yes,
Grandma
that's
Ruby?
the first book of Ruby's. So that has the Charleston dancing in it.
Right? And we got to get that dance back. Like that was good dancing back then.
Yeah.
I want to talk about workshops.
Sure.
And appearances and all that, like who people can reach out to, because I know that you're working with publicist Mickey, and Mickey is the one that gave you again to me.
Yes.
You know, so I want to get some information out there for anybody that's looking for your workshops and stuff like that.
Sure. So yeah, Creative Edge. Mickey Mickelson does all my signing up for me to do things. I work with kids from preschool all the way up through high school. And I really tried to design my workshops because I'm a former classroom teacher. So I don't believe in just designing, one way of doing things. I want to hear what it is that you want to accomplish. And then I actually design the program to meet your needs. And that's really fun. And mostly it's in creative writing with the young children. It might be a picture, and just teaching them to be comfortable telling what their picture is and how you're a storyteller. And they're like, oh my gosh, I'm a storyteller.
And I know the last time we talked, Diann, you were talking about Story Garden. Have you brought Story Garden back?
I'm about to bring it back in January. So I'm
See?
excited.
I got it out there again.
Very good.
See, I do my homework. I check.
I do.
I hunt you guys down. I want to talk about the word that you gave me for yourself. The word you gave me was determination. Determined. Tell me
Mhm.
why you gave me that word, Diann.
Because I think growing up, there were always times that I thought I couldn't do something. And again, and it would be because maybe a teacher told me I couldn't. And I'd come home and I'd tell my parents or my grandmother, and they're like, well, do you want to do it? Yes, I do want to do it. Well, you're not acting like it. Quit sniffling and figure out how to make it happen. Now go upstairs, write down what you think, and then come down and we'll talk about it. And so that's the way it's always been. Even when computers were brand new, there was no degrees in computers, but I was introduced to the computer in the Philippines because Steve Jobs sent his first computers over to the American school there to see how schools would be, how kids would react to it. I died and gone to heaven. This was like an Apple IIe with little floppy disks. When I came back to America, I was interviewed for a job, and he said, do you have any questions? And I go, yeah, you haven't told me how many computers I get in the classroom. He goes, do you know what that is? I go, well, I'm used to having, 12, but I'd really like to have one for each kid. And this is in like 1990. And he's like, what? So I was self-taught in computers way before there was such a thing. And because I was determined to use it as a tool, and actually became one of the top educators through Apple computers, and was given an award as a top educator for the state of Texas and from Apple computers. You didn't know that?
Oh, I
did
didn't
you?
know that.
I know.
No, I didn't. See, I told you, every time you come back, I learn something new. What a word was that?
Excuse me? Oh.
Let me catch my breath here.
Oh, yes.
She takes my breath away.
Oh, yes. I think there's a song with that verse in it.
What award was that for the Apple?
Apple Educator of the Year. Yeah. And Apple picked, when they started the Apple Education Program for their top educators in the United States, they picked 10 teachers, and I was one of them. And then I won this global award where I received an award in Denmark and France, but it was awarded in Denmark. So as a global tech teacher. Wasn't that lovely?
I learn all the time from you. Like, you say you learn from me. I learn from you, girl. Like,
but it's not bragging. It's answering the question. Determined. I was determined that computers weren't used as a babysitting tool. In some ways, they still are used that way. I wanted my students to realize this tool was the beginning of your future. And if you understood how to use it, you were ahead of the game. And so I was one of the first teachers to bring the internet to the classroom and things like that. So my students started learning how to program, how to build websites before anyone else. And some of my students, when they were 16, they had a job waiting for them because they knew how to build a website because they had taken a class from me.
See, and I'm always learning something from you, Diann, like, all the time. You were a school teacher for how many years?
Off and on, because I would stop when I had a child because I wanted to stay home and enjoy the baby. But I think about 15 years. I taught different grades.
You did the kindergarten grades, right?
Preschool, kinder, third grade, fourth grade, and then as one of the first technology teachers in the U.S., I taught first grade through eighth grade, and then I started training teachers around the world.
See? Grandma Ruby's in you. Like, Grandma Ruby has taken Diann over.
I think so. That's what I tell you, when I was doing my research and realized, and my mama and I went to the college that she ran away to go to college and we saw, they were in this museum, they were showing all these high-tech technology at the time. And I looked at Mother, I go, I never thought of an adding machine as high-tech. And they were showing all these different machines, and my grandmother was learning them. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Grandma was technology before I was.
It's in the blood.
It's in the blood.
Oh, I'm going to bring up the book one more time, Diann. If you
Okay,
just want to
sure.
tell everybody where they can reach the book and all this. So people that are just tuning in now, they can see that we're talking about Diann's grandma here,
Yeah.
and it's the book that she's written. So
Yes.
where can people grab this book, and how can they reach you as well, Diann?
Ruby Takes Chicago, you can find it on Amazon, and also Barnes and Noble, and your favorite bookstore, because I never want to forget the local bookstores. I love them, and you can order it through them. You can also read more about it on my website, Diann Floyd Boehm, BOEHM, .com. So it's DIANNFLOYD BOEHM.com. And you can sign up for my newsletter, please, and keep in touch with me. And I just wanted to share one more thing. If for some reason you have it in your gut that you truly want to be an author and you don't know how to get started, I truly love to help people get started. And I don't charge anything because I believe if God's blessed you, you have to take those blessings and give them to others. So please reach out and I'll help you get on your way.
See, amazing time all the time together. I want to get into your color, and you're not wearing it. How come?
Purple.
Your favorite? You gave me color as blue, and you're wearing
and purple. I should be wearing it. Except I happen to be up in Virginia right now, and I did have a blue dress for tea time, but it's so cold. I'm wearing a turtleneck. This Texas girl is not used to this cold. I mean, everyone else is walking around in shorts and saying, "Oh, isn't this weather wonderful?" And I'm like, "Where's my coat?"
I seen a video last year during the wintertime where you made snow angels.
Yes, I was back up here in Virginia and snowed in.
See, I hunt my guests down. I watch over them.
You do, don't you?
I am glad because Diann, you were one of my bigger supporters during the whole year. Like I took off 8 months and you were like, Liz, like, are you coming back? Can we figure something out? We've been talking back and forth for months, even before I came back. I really just want to thank you for all that support, Diann, because I couldn't have done this without you and other guests like yourself who have encouraged me to, to come back and sit and spill some more tea. I want to get into Grandma Ruby. We're going to wrap up with Grandma Ruby. What is one message you would like to tell Grandma Ruby if she was here today?
To thank her for encouraging me and going after her own dreams and helping making doors open for other women.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you for sharing Grandma Ruby's story. And for everybody out there, all the listeners, go and grab a copy of this book because there's a lot of good old sass in there. We have that, the good dancing. We need to bring that dance back. I swear to God, we do. And this is how I like to have tea time with my guests. Once the ice is broken, we just chit chat like good old friends and we get our good stuff out there for all of you guys. For anybody that would like to know more about Diann, check out her website, check out her books. Reach out to Mickey Mickelson if you'd like her to be on in your schools, workshops, all that good stuff. And say hi to Anne for me from OC Publishing. Amazing work Anne does as well. I got to meet Mickey and Anne through Diann. So thank you for that as well. To all the listeners out there, I really want to thank you for tuning in and pushing Miss Liz and encouraging me and making me dig deeper for different topics. But we're going to do a wrap up of what today's tea time was, and we're going to be back at 7 p.m. with a second tea time of a Northern Ontario girl. I'm really curious if she's from around where I was born. As tea time closes, Diann leaves us with a truth worth holding. Imagination is not just for children, it's the heartbeat of change. Through Ruby Takes Chicago, Diann shows us one determined woman's dream became a mirror for every reader's courage to triumph, espouse what matters, and I'm really messing that up. A brighter future. When we dare to imagine, we dare to transform the world one story at a time. is a quote by Diann herself. May this conversation remind us all that storytelling isn't just about the words we write. It's about the lives we touch through them. Until next time, keep sharing your stories of strength and let's make a difference together. And I'll see everybody at 7 p.m. with the second tea time.